TCI is brought to you by Forestry, sire of 43 stakes winners, including multiple Grade 1 winner Shackelford, winner of the 2012 Met Mile.
Welcome back to TCI. I'm Joel Cunningham alongside Ed DeRosa, and yeah, I did the switcheroo here. I'm on this side. John Siegel's on vacation with the family. John's at the beach, man. So it's
not too bad.
No, it's not too bad at all. He deserves a break. So it's you and I for this show, and man, we have a lot to talk about. So let's jump right in. Yeah, classic. I mean, you want to talk about the classic picture? I mean, I was really impressed with both of the performances of the Suburban and the Hollywood Gold Cup. Let's talk about the Suburban first because we talked about it, going into the weekend, how deep and contested this group was. And, we knew the Hollywood Gold Cup was going to be, pretty much a Bob Baffert affair. But, when you talk about the Suburban, 5 or 6 deep contenders in here. And your pick, MUCHO, man, really had a breakthrough performance, man.
Yeah, I really liked what I saw in the race. There wasn't a point during it that I didn't think he was the winner, which is a great feeling, usually reserved for even money shots. So the fact that he was in such complete control of that group, which we thought was a deep group, and I still don't change that, especially with him, book a Grade 1 winner running late. So for me, that was exactly what you wanted to see on the Classic Trail. The big question now heading to November is, can he keep it together? I think we saw the wheels sort of coming off in the Ali Sheba.
Right.
So hopefully Kathy Ritvo has a plan for the latter half of the year. But if he stays right and can run back to that Suburban and Grade 1 races later in the year, he's a huge threat.
Yeah, it was a very impressive performance. I think you're going to see this horse at Saratoga, obviously. They're going to want to try to knock down some Grade 1s, like the Whitney and the Woodward. And I just, he's a grinder. And it's not that he doesn't have a big move, Ed, but I was really impressed with the way he finished in here. I do think the race may have been compromised a little bit from a pace standpoint as far as setting it up for Himbook. Himbook got an honest pace, but I don't think it was as blistering as it could have been when Endorsement failed to, was just sluggish throughout. He was washed out going to the gate. And I know he's a long shot, but he's a horse I expected to see on the front end. Martin Garcia hustled him out of the gate, and he was just totally dull and was a no factor in this race. So I think the pace was, I would say average to what I expected, not above average. Definitely still set up for Himbook, but I just think, frankly, that Macho Man's a better horse, and he showed it in the stretch.
Yeah, I think with this race especially, I mean, Macho Man, I wouldn't say benefited from Endorsement's gaff, but certainly Himbook may have not benefited. So I agree with that. If it hurt anyone, it was Himbook, but I don't think it necessarily helped Macho Man. I think he wins this race regardless of what we saw. I mean, 6-1 now looks ridiculous. He clearly should have been 2 or 3-1. I mean, I respect To Honor and Serve, but he was pretty heavily bet.
Let's talk about To Honor Served. I mean, you mentioned him. He's your favorite in the race, likes Belmont. He had the numbers. I wanted to see him stretch back out, especially a 1.8 around one turn. I thought it'd be no problem for him. What'd you make of his performance? He was totally one-paced in the stretch.
Yeah, it was disappointing, and coupling that with the Met Mile, not sure if he's going in the right direction or what, but based on what we saw in the Cigar Mile last year, he absolutely deserves a shot to be a strong miler. That's a really good group this year with Shackelford and Jackson Bend, so if I'm the connections, I say, oh, maybe the Classic isn't for us. Mott has plenty of those in the barn anyway, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see him around one turn.
He was so good in the 2-turn Pennsylvania Derby at a 1.8 that I really thought that, you look at that pedigree on the bottom side, he'd have the stamina to be a true Classic contender, especially at 4, when he matured a little bit. But, I'm kind of in your camp now. I almost wonder if he wants to be top class, around 2 turns, going those real route distances. I think maybe he is a little better at a middle distance. So, surprised me a little bit there. I didn't like him to win in here, but I didn't expect him, as a short price favorite to run so poorly.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about the Hollywood Gold Cup now. I mean, want to talk about fast horses, Game On Dude, odds on this weekend. He obviously gets the job done. I thought he won pretty comfortably in the end, but Richard's Kid was an eye-catching second in here. I tell you what, Richard's Kid has really reverted back to that old form when Bob Baffert had him. What'd you make of this performance in the stretch, and what do you think of these 2 horses going forward?
Well, last week we sort of glazed over Game On Dude and joked, oh, he's our pick, let's move on to the Suburban. But, even at 2-5, we saw 2 1-5 shots go down this weekend. So you still got to go out there and get the job done, and he did, and did it professionally, and certainly a huge player in the Classic division and the top older male to my eye right now. But I'm with you on Richard's Kid. I liked what I saw, and he's one like Himbook. I mean, we're going to see them running late, and if they run back to their race and get the pace to set up at, there's no reason they can't win. So, Richard's Kid, certainly a huge player going forward, especially for Baffert.
Well, Game On Dude controlled the race and won like he was supposed to, but Richard's Kid's a fresh horse, only 2 runs this year. lightly campaigned. I could see him being around at the end of the year where he's had some strong end of the year campaigns in the past. 2-time Pacific Classic winner. I'd make him the favorite to be a 3-time Pacific Classic winner the way he ran this weekend. And I almost wonder game on dude if they're not going to go to the East Coast with him. I'm not sure Bob wants to run against Richard's kid over the poly track, at Del Mar where he really loves that surface. So very intriguing there. In your opinion, do these older horses, based on the results this weekend, move closer to the 3-year-olds? Because you and I have had the opinion since the Triple Crown that these 3-year-olds have been pretty dynamic and fast and project well in the Classic division. What do you think of the older horses now based on this past weekend?
I think more older horses are better than more 3-year-olds, but for me, Bodemeister is still on top. So the top 3-year-old, I think, is better than the top older horses. But certainly when I look at the group of older horses, Mucho, Macho Man, Game On Dude, Richard's Kid now, Hymn Book, Alternation, hopefully he comes back well. I think that's deeper than the 3-year-old. So it all makes for a fantastic fall.
Give me odds on Bob Baffert winning the Classic. He has Painter, Bodemeister, Game On Dude, Richard's Kid, who knows who else. What are the odds on him winning the Classic in his backyard?
I mean, if you say Game On Dude and Bodemeister each 3-1, well, that right there is 50% chance. So you're already at even money, and then you throw in Painter and everyone else.
It's Bob versus the field, the rest of the trainers in the world.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time giving any more than even money. Oh, absolutely.
Against the field. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about my top 5, Ed. I want your opinion. For me, starting on the TCI top 5 for the Classic division, I'm moving Ron the Greek down, a 2-time Grade 1 winner this year, but I'm moving him from the 4 to the 5 spot because I was so impressed with Richard's Kid's closing performance. I just think he's a better closer than Ron the Greek, fresher to be around at the end of the year in California. So I'm moving him into that 4 spot. Wise Dan, it moves from 2 to 3 for me because I was just so impressed with Mucho Macho Man's performance. I really thought it was a breakthrough effort. So he moves the 2-spot. Game On Dude stays at number 1. What do you make of my top 5?
Yeah, I agree. I had Game On Dude.
Be honest.
No, the top 2 are my top 2. I'd have Bodemeister on top if you expanded it to a Classic list versus just older male.
Which we'll do eventually.
Absolutely. But Ron the Greek, to me, shows you how deep this field is. I mean, I agree. I think I'd put him on in my top 5 because of what he's accomplished.
Sure.
I'm with you. I think, the only horse I might add is Hymn Book if you want to trade him out for Ron the Greek. But being that Ron the Greek's won 2 Grade 1 winners, that's fine.
Well, he's your big cap winner, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that's a Santa Anita.
He won the right ones, too. I mean,
Sure.
he wasn't picking spots. He shipped. He deserves to be talked about, but we'll see if he can actually run with Game On Dude.
Let's move to the Summit of Speed. We gotta get out of the Classic division and talk about these sprinters. The Princess Rooney was a headliner. You like Nicole H. I like the Champ Musical Romance. I tell you what, we look now to the Twin Spires TV race replay, and we're taking them into the stretch here. Juan Leyva, ultra confident right now. Musical Romance, the defending champ, and Nicole H. Like you said, had the quality to collar, and she does just that. Makes the champ really finish inside the 8th pole here to the wire, and the champ shows her class and proves best here, but a good stretch run.
Yeah, absolutely. No excuse for my pick, though. I mean, she just got beat by the better horse. Maybe Leyva was taking tips from Nolan on Black Caviar, how to make a race interesting in the final stages. But
definitely did that.
She was the better horse, and really, other than Groupie Doll, she's clearly one of the best female sprinters.
Let's switch to Trinity Bird to feature name. We expect to see him in the Smile.
Yeah.
They play conservative, run him in the carry back, and he gets beat by the local horse, Fort Loudon.
Yeah, I think the way things shook out with both Gantry and Fort Loudon earning a 103 brisk speed rating, Trinity may have done better shedding weight and going for the Smile. But the carryback was a great race, great fun to watch, and Gantry certainly looked good at 6 furlongs. But neither performance to me was fast enough to compete at the Breeders' Cup level, which is 110 range. So I need to see more. Yep.
Sure, no, I agree with that. Gantry's a horse 7 for 7 at the 6 furlong distance, clearly improving. He ran well on Derby Day in a good race at 7 furlongs, so I think he's getting better. But the carryback, I was impressed with that. Fort Loudon's a horse they've always thought a lot about. They ran him in the Breeders' Cup, Florida Derby. They really thought he was a nice horse. Obviously likes Calder, and that was the difference. They were 13 3/4 lengths clear of the 3rd place finisher, so no shame for Trinity Bird there. Ed, I appreciate it, man. We'll do it again later this week.
Looking forward to it.
Come back Thursday. We'll have more TCI and Breeders' Cup action heading into the weekend.